It is starting to seem as if the end of New York rapper Kay Flock is near, as today it was announced Bronx drill rapper Kay Flock was just indicted by a federal grand jury for a bunch of new racketeering conspiracy charges, also known as RICO charges, which had hip-hop creators reacting stating, "Kay Flock caught a RICO, it's really over," to even DJ Academic stating, "The feds just unsealed an indictment on Kay Flock for RICO charge. The mandatory minimum if he doesn't beat those charges or snitch is life in prison. He still is facing state charges that has him locked up. Pray for him." Now, the news of Kay Flock now facing RICO charges hit news headlines very quickly, as his lawyer was also quick to release a statement regarding Kay Flock as well as his future, where it reads, "We're not surprised by the federal charges, as we've been fighting Kevin's state charges for over a year now. Considering the incident was a clear act of self-defense, it wasn't a particularly strong charge. That it's now being used as a basis for a possible penalty is extraordinary. On video, it is crystal clear that Kevin, aka Kay Flock, was about to be affected after attempting to walk away from another person. Only then did Kevin use an item to defend himself, as well as another individual from an armed team member who was about to pull out his item from out of his pocket." Now, Kevin in that statement is Kay Flock, as that's his real name. The story of Kay Flock's arrest with the incident that occurred on December 23rd, 2021 has now been officially revealed in the courtroom, sharing every single detail from the day of his arrest. This incident involving Kevin, aka Kay Flock, as well as another individual named Oscar Hernandez, who sadly passed in the situation. On December 23rd, 2021, New York rapper Kay Flock was walking down the street in the city. From these photos you see here, Flock is seen walking past a barbershop with two other individuals by his side. Kay Flock, wearing the blue coat, was also wearing a shiesty mask on this day. While walking past this barbershop, Kay Flock is seen staring inside. A man then walks out of the barbershop as they notice Kay Flock walking by, as earlier in the day, Kay Flock posted several Instagram stories of him wearing this exact outfit, and he's really known in the streets of New York City, so it's obviously very easy to recognize him. While Kay is walking by, the man in question leaving the barbershop is Oscar Hernandez. Hernandez is seen on video stepping out of the barbershop while Kay Flock kept walking by and minding his own business. Oscar then screams at Kay asking, "Hey, what are you looking at?" with a small argument then beginning to brew up between these two men on the sidewalk. With Hernandez walking away from Kay Flock was then seen pulling a firearm from out of his waistband and then using it towards Hernandez. Now, allegedly at the time before Kay Flock is seen pulling out his firearm, there's another video surveillance footage that only the courtroom has, where it actually reveals Oscar Hernandez pulling out his firearm first, or at least looking like he's reaching for it. But with Kay Flock being seen on video pulling out his, it does show him connecting with Hernandez with the item, as Oscar Hernandez tries running back into the barber shop for help. Hernandez didn't make it that far, as he sadly passed from his injuries at the local NYC hospital. All that was left at the scene was shell casings, as well as Hernandez's slides that he was wearing on this day. Kevin Perez, professionally known as Kay Flock, was the main suspect in this investigation within minutes, as he quickly turned himself into the NYPD and is currently facing charges of the first degree. As of this moment of the recording, Kay Flock is being held on Rikers Island Jail. Him and his lawyers are doing anything possible to get him released, as Hernandez's parents spoke out about the passing the next day it happened. Now, these two parents believe this was a case of mistaken identity. Oscar Hernandez was a delivery man for Uber Eats and was described as a hard-working man. It's very important to note as well, allegedly around 30 minutes after the incident went down, and all the NYPD had at that time was a small surveillance video from a barbershop actually across the street. They released this photo asking the public to help find the main suspect. Thousands of fans realized that this looked like New York rapper Kay Flock, which is why the NYPD put out a warrant for his arrest immediately, which led to him turning himself in. Now, with the official reasoning of the situation revealed, Kay Flock's lawyer had this to say about the case.
When the guy hits the ground and is found, he's got a loaded that was in his pocket that his hand was on at the time. We consider that to be self-defense.
So he did take him in self-defense.
That's what the allegation is. I don't want to talk too much about the details of the case,
Okay.
but the government claims that he pulled the But at the same time, the person that was on the ground had his hand on a illegal loaded, apparently about Kevin.
Okay. So without saying too much, you're arguing obviously self-defense. That's the crux.
That could be one of the arguments, self-defense. And I would say to the public, somebody's walking up to you with a loaded, it's pretty clear he's going to use it, with a criminal record a mile long. Do you want to get or do you not want it?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't hesitate to pull the.
If you're a fan of K-Flock, leave a like on the video. I'm curious how many fans are watching today. K-Flock hired one of the best lawyers in the game. Flock and his lawyer walked into the NYPD 30 precinct together. His lawyer then put out this statement. I accompanied Kevin as he self-surrendered to detectives in the 30th precinct. Arrangements were immediately made with the NYPD once I learned that he was a wanted man. As to the charges against him, we have begun our own investigation into these allegations. More importantly, considering the DA's significant disclosure this morning that the NYPD received a tip saying someone else is the hitter, we demanded the DA's office provide disclosure of the videos referenced in the complaint and more information on the tip. We will address bail once we have a chance to review the case and further investigate the DA's noteworthy disclosure. Now, after this statement was released by his lawyer, the NYPD then put out their statement. The NYPD believed this incident was a street-related act based on K-Flock's documented affiliation with the Bronx-based Third Side Street Team. But here's where things get more interesting, as another video would go quickly viral online showing a man matching the suspect's photo on FaceTime, showing his firearm tucked into his waistband. Numerous amounts of ops would end up celebrating K-Flock's arrest on social media, leaving many to believe it was them who released the barbershop footage online, which would then help him get arrested as soon as possible. Now, it's been rumored that K-Flock was on his ops block during this situation, and he was actually on FaceTime with an op, showing his location before it happened, as well as making fun of the op's living situation. After the video footage of the crime was posted all over social media, everyone claimed self-defense, as Oscar Hernandez is the one who went after K-Flock on the sidewalk. There's just one little issue with that, which is self-defense in New York City is practically non-existent. Now let me explain. The law in New York City is very different than, let's say, Florida as an example. Having a firearm in general in New York City is highly against the law. The only ones allowed carrying a firearm in New York is law enforcement, ex-law enforcement, as well as registered security guards after 5 years of security training. But okay, let's say, sake for argument, let's say that K-Flock can claim self-defense as easy as he could in Florida. This is immediately thrown out of the window, as K-Flock used a firearm against allegedly Hernandez's back. As mentioned earlier, Oscar Hernandez was walking back into the barbershop before K-Flock did this incident. Now, the argument in court would be made of, how is K-Flock in fear if the man isn't even facing him face to face? The rest of the evidence isn't super clear, but the probable cause to arrest stated that he used a firearm against an individual on surveillance, as K-Flock was seen wearing this exact same outfit in other social media photos, and K-Flock also flexed the firearm with the extended clip on his social media. Now, due to the evidence we shared in this video, online lawyers believe that K-Flock may have just ruined his very short music career for good. K-Flock was one of the fastest growing rappers in New York City, who has been making waves in the music industry with his distinct style and lyrical prowess. He was born and raised in the Bronx, which is known as the birthplace of hip-hop culture. One of the things that set K-Flock apart from other rappers was his dedication to his craft. He said in many interviews that he spends hours every single day writing and recording music, and that he takes his career very seriously. He also credits his family as well as his community for keeping him grounded and motivated. Now, this makes him one of the most loved rappers from New York City, which is why millions across the world hope that he beats this case and gets released from prison as soon as possible. If you do too, leave a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. So in District Trending, and I'm out. Peace.